There we go. We are live. Hello, Stella.
Hello, Claire. It's wonderful to be with you today.
Isn't it?
And I
We are
love,
not. We are not quitters. Look
we
at
are
that.
not, we're not quitters. Nothing will put us up. Well, you proved you're not a quitter. I love Soberholics. I think it's a brilliant organization and network. And I do believe that, I understand the dependency for alcohol. I get it, but it's so much better when we, in our own right, can be powerful women without an addiction. So well done, you, Claire.
Thank you, Stella. Thank you. I knew when I bumped into you online that I don't know that we would be able to collaborate and connect. And I've been
Yeah.
watching you, and I know you've got some exciting news coming up. And I thought if I could get Stella, I know you're so busy. I've got so many questions for you. I'm chasing you around. You're getting so much PR. I'm in your shadow. And I'm just thinking, my ladies would love to hear about what you've got planned. So can you give us some teasers? And obviously, we know you're busy, but you'll have to come back.
Oh, I will definitely come back and we'll do a real long session where you and your lovely followers and all the network ladies, you can ask me all the questions you want. We're going to cover everything from sex to drink to beauty to sex, a lot of sex, because as you know, I am a neo tantra love educator. And that is one of the things that really does, it's the key to sexual liberation. And I think that sexual liberation is going to be very big this year. So, what am I doing in terms of that, Claire? First of all, I now have national, it's on the 25th of July, I now have National Fall in Love All Over Day. And I happen to be speaking, I'm a guest speaker, special guest speaker at a festival, the Food and Drink Festival in Billericay on that day in Essex. So we're going to celebrate it in many ways, and I will be able to offer you by the time when we do our real thing, our real one, girl, I'll be able to offer you so that all of your people can download it. It's my whole itinerary of the festivals I'm guest speaking this summer, of the Tantra workshops I'm teaching in September, but also there are opportunities. We're really celebrating National Fall in Love All Over Day. So there's going to be like a prize package that's worth over £300. Lots of exciting things. I want to really do my best this year to encourage women. Not that I'm against men, I love men, but I work more with women. But to encourage women, Claire, to fall in love all over. Start again. Is that their health? Is it the looks? Is it finding a partner? Is it, finding love for themselves, with or with somebody else, as we've said, but falling in love all over. Sorry, that was just beautiful Tan, who I live with, who just went by in the background. So take no notice of that.
And so you're all about the natural beauty products as well, aren't you? That's what I'm also wanting to pick your brains about.
Yes.
I'm telling my followers all about the natural beauty. Tell us a little bit about that. How did you get involved in that?
Okay, well, I was very lucky because my mother was a spiritualist who was very much into Mother Nature. So I grew up in a house where eggs were not only eaten or oats, they were used on the face. Lemon was used for like age spots. Lavender, she would collect it, would be used like for stress and headaches. So I grew up in that environment. And I decided quite a long time ago that I would follow that path, which I have. And this is my skin at 74, my age, but I'm dedicated. And at the festivals, I do things like my 7-day natural beauty challenge. And I can also do something for you, something for your followers. that we could set up a kind of a beauty challenge where I'm going to and I will say, okay, girls, tomorrow I would like you all to make this mask. Tomorrow I would like us to follow this juicing idea, and we're going to also use that in the ways of beauty. So I do make my own products, but people ask me to sell them. I won't, because I have my book, as you know, Sensual Sorcery, which is a bestseller actually, but that has all my remedies, recipes, tips and suggestions in it. And I would rather, the same way we wean people off drink or drugs or cakes, could be anything really, couldn't it? The same way, we wean them off things. I think it's great to replace some of what we believed with new things. So Mother Nature is a wonderful thing, and it's very valuable for women of any age, but especially if people could adapt to this in their 40s when you've got menopause coming. I know we're going to cover this in great detail when we do our proper session together, but there are many, many reasons why we must, all of us, we must embrace sexual liberation, and we must embrace Mother Nature. I'm going to say for any woman who achieves those two things, she's going to be bloody successful in her life,
because she's happy, isn't she?
She's going to be very happy, and she's always going to feel, young, because I think that's another problem that women have, particularly women. Men, somehow we still love them when they got their paunches and they've lost their hair, whatever, but somehow we don't look as well, do we, with a paunch? And
worry about that, don't we? I think it's more the worry about it than the actual thing, myself.
So do I. I mean, I remember, Claire, very well. This is really bizarre, actually. The only times I ever felt old was when I was 28. I mean, 28. What an age to feel old. I don't know. It was social conditioning. It was, and don't forget, I'm of a certain age. And by then, most women my age who were having babies had them. That's all changed. So that's very good. And then the second time I felt old was when I was coming up to around 50.
Right.
And I thought that then really, I thought, I've had it now, this is it, men aren't going to look at me anymore, you're not going to lose my looks, I'm going to be whatever it was. And then I thought, no, I am not going to have that future.
No.
I'm going to take the opposite path and prove that it doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you feel foxy, as long as you're taking care of yourself.
You can feel foxy in a room on your own. Stuff.
Oh, you certainly can. Yes, I've developed that art, I love it. Yes, it's brilliant. And I don't know how you are as a woman, Claire, but I am many, many women. What do I mean by that? I mean, I'm currently staying with this wonderful friend of mine till I move into my own apartment. And she, every day, she says to me, oh my God, Stella, you rock. Because one day I wake up and I've decided to be a 50s woman. So I'm in the whole 50s thing. Another day I'm a rock and roll chick. Another day I'm I think it's important to embrace, to be playful, Claire. To be playful, and to, I think what people forget, even I do sometimes, I'm not this perfect person. I'm not, I have my own flaws, a lot of them. But one thing I do recognize is that this gift of life is a gift, which means you don't know whether you've got it for another day, another 10 years, or you don't know. And so I think that's the point of coming to a point in our lives where we are in balance. I think we can still be naughty. I think we should still be flirtatious. I think I'm still a single lady. I mean, I have lovers. Let's be honest about this. But I don't think that life has to end. It ends in our minds, Claire.
It's a,
You know,
it's a mindset thing, isn't it? Age, it is totally.
exactly. And so my message to your followers today is well done, those of you who have managed to kick alcohol now. Um, I'm not a fanatic. I don't preach anything. But, and if for the people who do drink a glass of wine with their meals, I'm certainly not knocking that either. But whenever we find we are addicted, then it's unhealthy. I began my career, I think, working for the Rolling Stones. So in my youth, I smoked cannabis. Actually, let's be really honest, when I can get it prescribed, I still take it because I still find it's the best thing to help me sleep. And I'm against taking pharmaceuticals. But when I was young, I did veer more towards the close to the edge. Um, well, at some point, of course, it damaged my health, my kidneys, my liver, and that's what it's going to do to you. But I'm going to say to everybody who's young, you're probably not going to agree with this, Claire, but may I say it?
Go for it, Stella.
Okay. So I'm going to say my teacher in India, he was an amazing teacher, Osho, his name was, and he would say, play with all the toys in your toy box until you can close the lid without regret. And I think it's kind of amazing, isn't it? And
Walk away before you get burned.
yes, but play with your toys, but know when to close the box. Experience everything. What is it you want? Sex. Well, sex, we should experience as much sex as we can because orgasms, by the way, the more orgasms we have, the more successful we are in our careers. It's a proven fact. I'll go into it in detail yes, did you not know this? It's proven. We know, us now tantra women, but these are the kind of things I talk about at festivals. So as I said, on the 25th, which is not only National Fall in Love All Over Day, and I'm encouraging you all to self-pleasure on that day. Yes, absolutely. And apart from encouraging you to do that, did you know I was this open when you invited me on?
And you would have fun.
Yes. No, I say it as it is. I'm a writer who, when I write, I will put myself into the piece. So I will talk about myself. I don't just put it all that statistics say and that women should. No, I tell you about me because even though it's shocking for some people, it also is much more honest, so I'm bringing you into an experience. I'm not putting it out there and saying that's what the statistics are. I tell you in real terms from my own experience so that you can share yours. Mm-hmm. Is it not important that each one of us can share our experience and not be ashamed and not be shy and not be, feel I can't really say that? It's time for us to speak.
Liberating as well, isn't it? It's like squeezing a spot.
Yes, yes.
It's only hard the first few times. I've invited ladies to come on and tell their story and their journey because that in itself is so empowering, isn't it?
It is, we're not perfect. I don't like people who pretend that they're perfect. I'm so far from perfect, but I'm very happy. And at this moment of talking, I'm very healthy. So I must be doing something right, Claire.
Yes.
Yeah. But yes, I would encourage your wonderful ladies. Well, I know they do, but to truthfully share their stories, of how addiction can damage addiction in any area now, but particularly we're dealing with alcohol here. We think, I know I did when I used to drink a lot in my much earlier years. I actually couldn't have, this is going to sound crazy, I couldn't have an important conversation without being bloody drunk. Mm-hmm. I couldn't find the courage. I couldn't go deeply enough into myself. And I used alcohol as a tool, a weapon, I thought, but actually when I look back, I cringe at some of the things I said when I was drunk. Because, drunks, unfortunately, they can be quite ugly, in the way they speak. And they say that sticks and stones might break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That is not true. Words hurt much more than sticks and stones. Mm-hmm. And it kind of, they stick with you, don't they, when you've been. So, if somebody can be a happy drunk, a really happy drunk, and be very successful in their career and look great and be very healthy, go ahead, But if that's not the case, if you're starting to see more wrinkles, if your relationships are falling apart, if you're not holding down a job, then we must step up and step out. But by more people sharing their experiences, I think we can inspire and empower others,
Thank you, Stella.
It's my great pleasure to talk to you today. As you know, I have a call coming up that's quite important now, but I've loved having this. And if you and your lovely followers would like me back, then why not prepare some questions for me,
We'll do that. I've got some. I'll definitely do that. And then we'll arrange another time for you to come back. That's been lovely. Thank you for that introduction. We're all thinking now. And where can we find you? Where can we follow you and follow what you're up to?
Well, obviously on my website, stellaralfini.co.uk. You can find me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. And as I said, I will give you soon, I'll send you a link if you like, that people can download my itinerary. But remember, the 25th of July, the press releases go out this week. We're going to start to celebrate with gifts and prizes. And if any of your ladies who live near Essex, come down and meet me. On this itinerary, you can scan the QR code and you get a VIP invite to come hear a very special talk I do for my VIP guests. And it's free. That's free. Yes.
I'll put some of the links on, Stella, so that people can find you, and then we'll come back on and remind them before the event.
I would love you to do that. And please post this whenever you're ready. Just let me give you a couple of links later today so that they know where to go and how to access some pretty special free gifts. And there's a lot of good things going on. Oh, the workshops. For example, in September, I'm teaching the Awakened Tantra Goddess. Now that... Exactly. It's amazing. I'm doing that at the Tara Yoga Center near the Barbican, so it's very central. And then the other one I'm doing is the Singles Tantra Love Training for singles. And yes, because, heterosexuals now, the divide is becoming too great. I'm not going to give you all the statistics right now, but if you heard them, you would be shocked about how British couples actually, nearly 43%, they really don't talk about sex. So, and the women, all of these women, are not sexually satisfied in bed because their partners have irritating habits, or they're too fast, or they climax too fast, or they do something. But why don't they talk about it? What is going wrong? So, singles tantra love training. Oh yeah, baby. We're gonna sort them out because we do not. Yes, let's talk about sex. Okay, so it's been amazing talking to you today, Claire. Thank you to all of you. I hope those of you who watch this really enjoy it, get something out of it. Got any questions? You can always find me through the beautiful Claire. So for today, bye. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye, my darling.
Bye, darling. Bye.